You ever stop and think about how a massive ancient empire could possibly run 24/7? We're talking about managing armies, temples, astronomers, all day and all night. Well, they did it. And they did it without electricity, without a single gear, using a piece of technology that was thousands of years old and ran on nothing but water. It's surprisingly clever. Let's dive in. So, here's the central puzzle for today. How did a powerhouse like the Assyrian Empire tell time after the sun went down? I mean, for a civilization that had to coordinate everything from military patrols to religious rituals around the clock, this wasn't just a small problem. This was a matter of imperial order. Okay, so you know about the sundial, right? It was the go-to timekeeper for pretty much everyone back then. And it's brilliant, but it has this one massive flaw. It absolutely needs the sun. So at night, or on a cloudy day, or even just indoors, it's basically just a decorated rock. The solution? The water clock, a device that worked anytime, anywhere. And that really brings us to the core challenge that sparked all this innovation. Let's just call it what it is, the problem with sunlight. I mean, think about it. An empire just doesn't sleep. The Assyrians had to manage night watches for their huge armies, they had to perform sacred rituals at very precise moments, and they had to track the stars for their advanced astronomy. They absolutely needed a reliable way to measure time in total darkness. A sundial just wasn't going to cut it. So what was this amazing solution? Let's get right into the tech itself. It was a clock made of water. The technical term, the fancy name, is a clepsydra. And you know, its principle is just so elegant and simple. It's a machine that takes the constant, predictable flow of water and turns it into a measurement of time. There are no complex mechanics here, just the basic laws of physics harnessed for a super practical purpose. Okay, so here's how it worked at its most basic level. You'd fill a vessel with water, right? Then that water would drain out through a tiny hole at the bottom. And by putting marks on the inside of the vessel, or by measuring the water that collected in a bowl below, you could actually track the passage of hours pretty accurately. It's so simple, but so effective. Now, it's important to point out, we haven't actually dug up a complete Assyrian water clock. Our understanding comes from something that's maybe even cooler: clay tablets. These ancient texts show us that Assyria was a huge part of this wider Mesopotamian scientific culture that had pretty much perfected this technology for all sorts of uses. But listen, don't let that simple design fool you. These devices were way more sophisticated than they might seem at first. This was not just a leaky bowl. And this is where it gets really clever. See, the Assyrians knew that a night isn't always the same length of time. It's shorter in the summer and much longer in the winter. So what did they do? They created a system of seasonal hours. They'd use a different, carefully measured amount of water to time a night watch depending on the time of year. So this wasn't just a clock. It was an adjustable, calibrated scientific instrument. Incredible. So who exactly was using these advanced devices night after night? Well, this technology was woven right into the fabric of the empire, which brings us to timing the night's work. This tech was absolutely essential for the most powerful groups in Assyrian society. You had astronomers who were also priests, needing it to time celestial events for making calendars and reading omens. Temple officials used it to make sure sacred rituals happened at exactly the right hour. And the state itself, the government, relied on it to organize the military and split the night into formal guard watches. And that really captures the core idea, doesn't it? It's the conceptual leap they made, the realization that you could use one of nature's most constant processes, the flow of water, to measure something as abstract and invisible as time itself. I mean, that is a truly profound insight. All right, so let's start to wrap this up. What does this ancient piece of technology really tell us about the people who made it? Let's take a look at what old clocks tell us. This is the part that just blows my mind. We're talking about a highly sophisticated system of telling time, one you could even adjust for the seasons, and it was all done with some pottery, some water, and brilliant observation. No gears, no batteries, no computer code, just pure human ingenuity. Now let's be real, these clocks weren't perfect. Of course not. The water flow could actually change as the pressure in the vessel dropped, and obviously they weren't as pinpoint accurate as, say, your smartwatch. They needed a trained person to set them up and keep an eye on them. But in a world without any other options, they were the absolute peak of timekeeping technology. And that is the real takeaway here. The Assyrian water clock is this perfect example of ancient tech fueled by a very modern kind of ingenuity.
It's a powerful reminder of this deep, universal human drive, this desire to measure, to understand, and to bring some order to our world and our time in it. Which kind of leaves us with a final question to chew on. When you look at the elegant power of something like the water clock, it really makes you wonder, what simple ideas or technologies in our own world today are actually way more powerful and ingenious than they seem at first glance?